Guys, welcome back to the McLaughlin podcast and radio show. So excited to be bringing episode 2 with you guys. And if you guys haven't heard episode 1, just go back. It's about 15-16 minutes. You guys can just hear back who I am and just the intro of what this podcast is going to be about, which I'm really excited to be bringing with you guys. But with episode 2 starting, I want to show you guys something that has been on my mind, or I guess speak to you guys about hard work. And that's what today's episode is going to be on, is just working hard to get the success or get to the goals you want. You know, in today's society, we live in a world that it's all instant. It's you do something for a week and you want to have all the results. For example, they always put the millennials in a little category, and they're like, the millennials work for a year and they want to be millionaires. And I'm like, well, don't you? Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but they just say the younger people always struggle with it a little more than the older people that aren't in the millennial category. But I just want to share with you guys just a couple quick quotes that I have with you guys, and I just want you guys to kind of think about it. The first one is, a dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. You know, and that you guys, I just want you to kind of go over, chew on it, see what you guys get out of it, and then I'm going to go over on what I think. And then second one, which, you know, I played basketball in college, so sports is a huge thing in my life, and this was a quote I heard many times, and it's, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And, you know, I absolutely love that, because that quote was my life with basketball. You know, I was never the best basketball player. I loved it. I loved it a lot more than a lot of other people. But I just wasn't as God-gifted talented, and I'm okay with that. You know, like we all have our things. But there was one thing I told myself, that I was always going to win. Like when I was smaller, we would have camps. It was Mr. Hustle, and it was like, there's no reason you can't be the winner of Mr. Hustle when it's running to drills, it's running and trying hard during the games, never giving up. And I would win that, because even though I was overweight and little chubby guy running around everywhere, I would just hustle, because I knew that's something I could always control. I might not be able to control every shot, I might not be able to control the outcome of the game, but I can control what I'm putting in and what the effort's going to be. And so I absolutely just love that, because it just sits so well with me, because it's been my life. Like I said, in college, it was the same thing. I took pride in being the hardest worker on the team. Again, I was not the best player. I was actually one of the worst players on my basketball team in college. But there was one thing that my college coach, Coach Sykes, complimented me and my best friend Josh Dorian, my roommate at the time. And he talked to Josh's parents, and he's like, you know, Josh and Jacob may not be the most talented players, but there's nobody that works harder than them. And, you know, for me, that's always just been something that sticks with me. That was at the college level again. So there's no excuse why you can't work hard. So I want you guys just to take that as you will. That's a little rant that I wanted to go on about with like sports and working hard, but kind of just going into success with jobs and everything that you can do with hard work. You know, working with a lot of entrepreneurs and business guys that have very successful businesses and they make very good money now, it's very interesting talking to them. Everybody thinks, you know, the overnight success. Like, you know, just for example, Jeremy Scott. When I met him last year, he had 88,000 people on Instagram. Last week I checked, he had 254,000. He's grown almost 200,000 people, and a lot of those have been in the last 3 months. And so a lot of people are like, oh, overnight success, and it's like, he's been doing it for 8, 9, I think actually 10 years now, and he's just been going continuous with it. And what I mean by that is, like, he hasn't slept in past 4 a.m. in the last 10 years. That's crazy to me. But it shows why he's so successful and what he does. And it's all the business guys that I train that all own successful businesses. It's the same thing when I talk to them. You know, when you talk to them 20 years ago, they're like, oh, I never would have thought it was this big. It could have done everything I've done in my amount of time that I've been working, but it was just time after time, working hard and doing what others didn't want to do to become successful, and also just being good at their craft and just giving it time. But you know, there's things you're gonna have to do that you don't want to do, and that's just the reality of it. And most people are just ready to quit and give up. And so just when I first moved out here to Phoenix, you know, I was the same way. I worked with a couple gyms, and I was just like, you know, I wanted to make the money right away. I wanted to get paid, and you know, looking back on it, I didn't handle stuff the best way or the right way. But it's a learning experience for me. But I worked hard. I always worked hard. I was always there on time. I never missed. I always did what they asked me. But again, I'm always just trying to rush the process. But that's one thing that I want to like tell you guys, like, I've been able to get success in every category that I've been in. For the fact of basketball, it was success because I made it to college, and that's what I wanted to do. When I was doing strength and conditioning, I got offers and could have had opportunities to do GAs, had a job offer to do strength and conditioning as assistant coach at 22 years old at a D1 college. And I was able to make connections with Texas, you know, West Virginia, all these top schools. And so just being able to do networking with all that. And then also just in the fitness world, you know, I met Jeremy. Now he's the face of Men's Health, and it's just been being consistent of working hard. And what that goes with is put yourself in the right positions. You have to be able to line up. You like, I would have never got the area with strength and conditioning if I didn't choose the internship that I did with Coach. If I didn't choose that spot with Coach Medina, or if I didn't choose that internship with Coach Medina, I would have never been able to meet some of the people that I met through the internships. And same with Jeremy. Like, I only got him on Instagram. Luckily, it worked for me, but I would never know like BJ or the connections that he's had me meet, because I would never have got that spot if I didn't make the right connection. But with that said, I worked my butt off just to keep it. And what I mean by that is I'm up at 3:45 to 4 a.m. every single Monday and Wednesday, and I wake up at that time and I don't go to bed till about 9 o'clock, and I'm pretty much constant from the time I get out of bed to the time I go to bed. That's just working hard, getting where you want to be. And then it goes on with just anything in life that you want to do. You guys just have to make sure that you're going to be willing to put in the time, put in the effort, and not care what others are going to think. And also know that there's going to be hard times. And I think that's what a lot of people don't factor in, or they do, and they only look at the short term. And what I mean by that is you guys do something hard and it's like, oh, I've done this for 6 months. This really sucks. I can't do this for another year. But it's like, you know, if you look in retrospect, if you looked at the macro instead of the micro, you know, 6 months is nothing, and you guys are going to have to grind. And, you know, everybody tells me like my first 5 years, 10 years are going to be the hardest times of my life. And like, I'm loving it. I'm like, yes, let's do it, because this is the time I can. I'm single and I can do all this stuff and I don't have anything holding me back. So I'm just like, yeah, let's grind and let's make it happen. But there's so many people at my age that I meet and they're like, oh, they want it tomorrow. And you know, it's not going to happen if you're not waking up before everybody else, if you're not putting in more hours than everybody else, if you're not making sacrifices more than anybody else. Like, that's what it comes down to, is you have to be different if you want to be successful in certain areas. And so, you know, you got to think of what the average person does, and then you have to go that much more. And that was a great quote that I heard from Kobe Bryant on the Lewis Howes podcast. Love his podcast. But Kobe Bryant said, he was talking to these kids and talking to his daughter actually, and he's like, is this something you want to do? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, then you can't practice only 1 hour. You have to practice 2. And she's like, what? And he's like, because every other kid in here is practicing 1 hour, right? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, then you have to practice more if you want to be better than them. And that, for me, I was just like, man, that's so good. If you guys think about, like, everything in life, that's the same thing. If you want to be good at something, no matter what it is, you got to work twice as much as the average person. You can't spend as much time watching all the Netflix shows. You can't spend as much time having all your luxuries. And I'm not saying don't have them, but you have to pick and choose when you want to do it, because so many times we just want to have fun and just live in the moment, but then we're pushing back our dreams and our goals. And so I know I'm going on a little rant and just going off with it, but it's just thinking about, if you guys want something, you got to know it's going to take hard work, it's going to take time, it's going to take consistency. And instead of trying to rush the process, you know, just fall in love with the process, fall in love with the grind, fall in love with working hard and making something that's going to last for a lifetime or at least for years that you think is worth it. And so that's what I'm just trying to get across to you guys. No matter what it's going to be, if it's going to be, you know, playing basketball, even if you play basketball on the weekends at the Y, like if you want to be better than half the guys there, you better spend a little more time than just going in on Saturday at 9 a.m. and shooting hoops. Like, you're not going to be better. You might want to go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and shoot some more. And like, that's like a little side note, but like anything you do, like that's just the basketball in the Y League. But if you want to do anything really big, you guys are going to have to work a little harder than most. And so I just want to encourage you guys, you know, to keep working, making things better for yourself, and fighting through all the times that are gonna try to pull you down. This is my little encouragement to you. I just want to be here to build you guys up, because nothing's gonna come easy, and I know that in my own life too. You know, I want everything to happen tomorrow, and it's like, wake up, buddy. It's not going to. You're going to have to put in the long hours, and you're going to have to do this for a lot more years. But I'd rather do all that work for this than work an 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5 job at something I don't really care about. So again, you have to pick what you want to go for. But yeah, whenever it comes to success, you guys, it's always going to be hard work. There's nothing that's going to go past that. Again, every once in a while you have that lucky dude who like hits it big and they find it, but the majority of us, it's not going to happen that way. You guys are going to have to work hard. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to just make sacrifices to make things work. So that's my little quick rant on hard work. I hope you guys took at least a little bit from it. And you know, I was thinking about my slogan last week, or my first one episode. I really messed that slogan up. I was like, gosh, that was horrible. And I've kind of like been thinking about it, and it's what's on my website. So if you guys don't know, I have a website, Jacob McLaughlin Fitness, but it's what's on my website, and it's live the life you want. So I just want to leave you guys with that. You know, chase after your dreams and live the life you want. I'll talk to you guys next time.